Hey, how you doing? It is Daisy, your marriage and relationship coach. Today I want to bust some infidelity myths around affairs that are consistently spouted out without any real rhyme or reason. And I want to bust these myths because these were some of the lies from the pit of hell that held me back when infidelity happened in my marriage. My husband had an affair, and I had all these things running around my mind, all these statements, these things people say around infidelity that keep people stuck and in a place of fear, particularly for the people who are really considering staying and fighting for their marriage. Now, the first most common myth that you will hear that will appear to be the truth is once a cheat, always a cheat. I find this statement lazy. I find it very annoying because we cannot just take one wrongdoing and put a statement to it that doesn't apply to other wrongdoings. So when we say once a cheat, always a cheat, what we're saying is that the human being is incapable of change. The human being is incapable of growth. We are incapable of evolving. We're incapable of practicing one behavior and then making a decision never to practice that behavior again. Now, if we were to accept that as truth, we would still be crawling on the ground, out living like animals. But because of the very fact that we're able to behave one way, decide that actually that's not working, is there a better way, and we grow and evolve, we are here today as highly intelligent, we hope, human beings. I know personally there were things that I did 20 years ago that were wrong, that were out of order, that were damaging, that I made a decision after doing it once, maybe even twice, that was something I was never, ever going to do again. And I didn't. And there are still things now, parts of my personality that prop up, and I think, oh, I didn't like how I behaved there. That is something I'm definitely going to address and make sure I never do or say again. And I don't, because I'm an adult who takes ownership for her actions and has the ability and the will to change things about my personality, my behavior, even habits that I want to. Does it take effort? Yes. Do I need to be focused on that change and really willing to make that change? Absolutely. But even you who is listening to this has had things in their life that you've done or you've said, behaviors that you've practiced, that you've said, you know what, never again, I'm never going to do it. The statement, once a cheater, always a cheater, basically means once you have done one wrong thing, that's it for you for life. You are always going to perpetuate that behavior. And I, for one, cannot agree with that, even from a personal level. Now, in my own marriage, I've also seen that not to be true, because the affair that happened in my marriage was over 13, nearly 14 years ago now, and it has never happened again. Now, I could have allowed that myth to stop me from enjoying the great blessing that I have in my marriage today. Thank God Almighty that I didn't listen to that myth, and I had the belief in God, but also in human nature, that if somebody makes a decision from a place of deep remorse and a sense of responsibility and ownership for their actions, that backed with will and commitment, anybody can change anything. Anybody can make a decision that they are not going to make the same mistake that they have made before. They are not going to return to their former vomit. That's the first myth that I hope I have busted. Now, if you're concerned as to whether your partner is likely to do this again or whether you should even stay and fight for your marriage, I do have a video that talks about whether you should stay and fight for your marriage after an affair. Make sure you go and check that out after this one. Here's myth number 2. Once the trust is gone, you can never build it back. You will never get that trust back once it's gone. Again, this is a lie. The very nature of trust makes that statement a lie. What do I mean? Well, the nature of trust is that it is built. When we have what we think is immediate trust, all we're doing is giving the benefit of the doubt. We don't trust you, but we haven't got any reason not to trust you. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But true trust is built over time through experience, right? And then when infidelity comes, it knocks that away, and we have to start building the trust again. But the very fact that trust is built means that it can always be rebuilt. Does it come to a stage where the bricks are just not bricking anymore? We can't get them to stick back together anymore and we can't build it? Yes. But in most cases, you are definitely able to rebuild the trust, because that is the nature of trust. It is built over time. And so what I find really trips people up is when they forgive, they think that they're going to have this immediate feeling of trust. It doesn't happen that way. They also take on the responsibility of trusting or of building the trust, when really it's the responsibility of the person who broke the trust to consistently be evidencing and giving examples of why they are trustworthy. And all the betrayed person has to do is stay observant of that consistent behavior and getting those ticks in the mind. Okay, they said they were going here and they did go there, tick. They said they'll be back at this time and they were back at that time, tick. And over time, with consistency, openness, transparency, and honesty, the trust is rebuilt. Again, I'm a living testimony of that, where my husband consistently evidenced to me that he is trustworthy. He is not that same person. He is changing the man that he is from the inside out. I no longer even only have to hang on to his words. I can see the man that he is and trust in his very being. And again, I am ever so glad that I didn't hold on to that myth that trust, once the trust is gone, it will never come back. It's a lie. If you guys are committed to working together and building this beautiful, strong, trusting relationship, you absolutely can do it, particularly if you're mindful of giving the time and the patience required to do the healing work and build the trust. The third and the last myth I am going to bust is that once the intimacy is gone, you will never get it back. And this is the intimacy around the emotional connection that you guys had, that the freedom that you guys had in your connection, right? The bond that you guys shared, you will never get it back. And even if you do, it will never be the same. I hear people say this all the time. It will never, ever be the same. This is a lie also. Again, emotional connection is built through doing very specific things, having openness in communication, spending quality time together, creating a space of openness and freedom of expression, allowing for vulnerability. All these things build emotional connection. So yes, an affair has come along and absolutely destroyed that in your marriage. But now, with commitment, with a concerted effort, you're able again, brick by brick, step by step, to build that connection again. And let me throw this into the mix. Oftentimes, the work that is required to rebuild this marriage, to rebuild this connection, the work that's required to heal together, the affair has caused now a new level or a focus on communicating all the time, on expressing how each other feels almost daily, right? Crying together, being angry together, working things through. All of that actually ends up with creating a very tight bond between the couple. That is why you will find many couples say when they've done the work that their marriage is stronger than before the affair, because the storm has caused them to literally cling to each other for dear life. And when the couple are actually working together and supporting each other and loving each other through this process, then they end up with this marriage that is full of emotional connection, this really tight bond. You know, they literally look back and they see what they have gone through together, right? Together. And so the concept that once the intimacy is gone, you can never get it back is a lie. Now, are there couples who have struggled to do this and to get their bond back? Yes, absolutely. But I would suggest that they are the couples that have really struggled during the healing process and didn't reach out for the help when they did struggle. They underestimated what the healing process would be. They got very impatient during the process. They didn't use my concept of healing together, which I have a video all about that. Go and check that out. And they didn't actively use this storm to bring them together. We had somebody trying to deal with all the pain and the hurt in one corner, and the other person trying to deal with the guilt on the other corner. And they didn't really come together and use it as an opportunity to rebuild. And that's the last thing that they didn't do. They went back to go and restore the old marriage instead of using this opportunity to create the new. Now, if this is something that you've been through, as always, I want you to share your thoughts in the comments, but also consider getting onto my affair recovery program so that if you do want to have an amazing, thriving, beautiful marriage that is even stronger than before the affair, you absolutely give yourself that opportunity. Start by booking a free breakthrough call with me. The link is in the description. And if you have not yet hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do so, and I'll see you in the next video.